Welcome back. This weekend, Israeli forces began a new phase of their fight against Hamas, with more troops entering Gaza on the ground and in the air.
And yesterday, the Biden administration warned Israel it must draw a distinction between Hamas and Palestinian citizens as the humanitarian crisis worsens in the territory. CBS News correspondent Ian Lee joins us from Tel Aviv this morning. Good morning, Ian.
Well, good morning, Brad and Dana. It seems like that long-anticipated ground invasion is underway. We were down on the Gaza border this weekend. We could see airstrikes and artillery over the past few days. The Israeli military says it struck more than 600 targets, including weapons depots, anti-tank missile launching positions, as well as hideouts and staging grounds used by Hamas. Israel expanded ground operations in Gaza over the weekend and launched hundreds of airstrikes against hundreds of Hamas targets, even as international calls for a ceasefire grow.
The number of civilians who have been killed and injured is totally unacceptable.
White House officials have warned that a ceasefire would benefit Hamas, though the administration is pushing Israel to balance its fight against the militant group with the safety of civilians.
We press them to make sure to distinguish between Hamas and the Palestinian people, who Hamas does not represent, and the Palestinian people deserve to live lives of safety.
Egypt says more than 20 trucks carrying humanitarian aid entered Gaza, but the crisis there continues to worsen. United Nations officials say thousands broke into warehouses holding some of those badly needed supplies, taking flour and personal hygiene products. Israel has also launched retaliatory strikes against Hezbollah in Lebanon and military assets in Syria. The vice president warned against an expanded U.S. military role on CBS 60 Minutes Sunday.
We have absolutely no intention, nor do we have any plans to send combat troops into Israel or Gaza.
CBS News has learned 2 U.S. Navy ships carrying a Marine task force are expected to arrive in the eastern Mediterranean today. It's believed that the Israeli military has pushed to the outskirts of Gaza City. They are making slow progress as they confront resistance and tunnels. It's also being reported that later today, the UAE will seek a binding resolution at the UN Security Council for an immediate humanitarian pause to the fighting in Gaza.
Ian, we appreciate your reporting there. Now, what more do you know about the fighting going on in the north, that usually kind of a tangle between Israeli forces and Hezbollah backed by Iran?
Yeah, Brad, over the weekend we saw the continuation of that fighting. Dozens of Hezbollah fighters have now been killed in that. And it is low intensity, but what's unusual is we are seeing more rockets being fired from Syria into Israel. Israel responded with airstrikes. Syrian state TV says assets were destroyed. But it's also interesting to point out, we heard from Iran's president over the weekend, Ibrahim Raisi. He said that Israel's crimes have crossed the red lines, and this may force everyone to take action. So that's quite an ominous threat there, Brad.
More and more of the Middle East being pulled in. Ian Lee, we appreciate your work on the ground. Thank you.